Welcome to the What's Your Ceiling podcast. We're your hosts, Monte Wyatt and Paul Szynski. Wherever you are in life, there is a higher ceiling. This podcast is how you become aware of it and how to take action to push through it. It's time to discover your ceiling. Before we get into this month's episode, here's a short message from Adding Zero's Executive Development. As CEO, you demand performance and results from your team. If you're committed to developing a cohesive, driven organization that achieves successful outcomes every single month, we need to talk. It's time to see how organizational and executive development from Adding Zeros can help. We focus on strategic planning, executive coaching, team alignment and engagement, organizational culture, and clarity of implementation. Contact Monte Wyatt by booking an appointment at www.addZerosNow.com. That's ADDZEROSNOW.com, AddZerosNow.com. If you're ready, now is the time. I have a few coaching spots available for 2025. Lock in your team today. Now let's begin today's episode. Welcome to the What's Your Ceiling podcast, where we talk about your health, your family, your business. I'm Monte Wyatt.
I'm Paul Szynski.
And if you're a CEO, a business owner, or executive, this is the show for you. We call our audience the achiever because you're always striving for the next level. We're going to have a great show today. We've got a wonderful guest that's a third-generation business owner, and we're going to talk about a lot of things that he's gone through, his family has gone through, and growing their business. We've got an owner-operator of Boesen The Florist. Tom Boesen has joined us, 102-year-old family business, and that's fantastic. Third generation, as I said. He told us this is the only job he's ever had. So I'm looking forward to stories. So Tom, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. Yeah, I've never even been a Dairy Queen or a paper boy.
Well, that's fantastic. You know what? We always like to start with a little theme to the show, just to get a little start on the conversation. And so I want to start with the theme of generational leadership. So Tom, when you hear the phrase generational leadership, what comes to mind to you?
Quite honestly, having worked with a grandfather, and whether I maybe not even called it leadership at that time, but a guy that I admire and ran a business. And then I worked for three uncles, and then I bought it from the three uncles. And I guess generational leadership is just being a leader. And it was certainly different business than my grandfather had, and it was definitely a bit different business than my dad had. And certainly I came to the time of the internet, online computer entry, and but generational leadership is just following.
Yeah.
And chewing some things out and spitting out it didn't work.
Yep.
Or it didn't work for me. We certainly made it easier because I grew up, my grandfather, the boss is that person, that customer on the other side. Ask him what he wants and give it to him.
Yeah.
It was never about us. It was never about the hours. Well, if they quit coming at 5:30, we closed our stores at 5:30. But we listen to the customer and do to this day.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Paul, what do you think of when you hear generational leadership?
When I think of generational leadership, a company that's been started since 1923, and you've been involved back in the 70s, I'm guessing.
I graduated from high school in 1970. I went for college for a year. In fact, I lettered. The letter was I picked the wrong college, and I came home and everything else was the school of hard knocks.
But talking about generational and that long, you guys obviously had the secret sauce to make it sustainable. And I think probably what you just said, it's about the people, it's not about you.
Right.
And once you figure that out, it helped you scale that business. And you're right. Each generation, I think, is also a different type of business.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be handled different. Like the online, you went from brick and mortar to several stores to have to condense it. And your profitability, I believe, was even increased.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're, we were in 11 grocery store locations in Des Moines called Dolls, and then we had freestanding flower shops. But a lot of that, when the grocery stores started going into it, our walk-in business started diminishing because you're already at the grocery store.
Right.
You can pick up a bunch of flowers or something. basically a big part was self-consumption. But what we ended up with was the person that was sending a heartfelt message attached with flowers. And we knew that. And so we just built on that, We took people really everywhere from cradle to grave. Congratulations on your new baby boy, to with my deepest sympathy, their wedding flowers, happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy Valentine's Day. So we traveled through life with many, many customers.
Oh, that's fantastic. When I think of generational leadership, I think of a foundation of tradition. You think about your tradition of what the grandfather or grandparents stood for, and you have some of those same core values, and you pass the core values down, and you want to keep that going to the next generation. And so that foundation of tradition is what I think about. So I really commend you. 102 years and third generation. That's crazy. So I really appreciate you being on the show.
Well, thanks.
I'd love to hear a little story about your grandparents and how they got started in the Beaverdale area, and just to tell our audience how you've gotten to where you are today.
Yeah, and the Beaverdale area is part of the Des Moines suburb of Des Moines, Iowa, central Iowa. So,
and one of the older suburbs. Originally, it was part of Urbandale, but my grandfather, Ted Boesen, walked into a flower shop in Evanston, Illinois, and the story goes that he was sending flowers to another girl, but the clerk he fell in love with that ended up being my grandmother, Betty Wyland. And he went to work in the Wyland flower shop in Evanston, and then after he asked for her hand in marriage to get married, my grandfather said, well, this business isn't going to be big enough to support us all the way you want to do this. So he went into a magazine called Florist Review, and there was a flower shop for sale in Des Moines, Iowa called Beaver Avenue Floral. Along with it, several acres. And so my grandfather, on August of 1923, came to Des Moines on his honeymoon. And they stayed at the Northwestern Hotel in Des Moines. And I don't know, horse and buggy, I don't know how the heck they got out to Beaverdale, but they fell in love with this place. But when they got off the train in August, there was people everywhere. My grandfather said, oh, this is going to be a great place to do business. Well, then he hopped in, he said he liked the shop, wired it back, let's buy it to my grandfather and great-grandfather. And then they went back, collected their belongings, and came back in mid-September. They got off the train. There wasn't people anywhere. Well, my grandfather found out that he came to Des Moines during the Iowa State Fair. And that's why the train station was so busy. And he goes, oh, shoot, maybe I didn't do my due diligence like I thought. But he rolled up his sleeves, and I have a lot of different stories how Grandpa, made Des Moines bigger and worked with it and went up and met funeral directors up and down wherever there was a railroad car, and he'd take them casket sprays. So he made Des Moines bigger. And I just remember that story that, you never say can't. And but there were several other good flower shops in Des Moines at that time. But my grandfather thought when he got off the train, there was more people here than there was in Chicago. But it was fair time.
Yeah, if anybody knows fair in the state of Iowa, that's a big, hundreds of thousands of people show up in one area. So it at that time probably double the size of Des Moines at that time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I love to hear that about bringing the family here and finding this flower shop for sale. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the business and what was different in your generation than your father's generation. Yeah.
Let me go there. The grandfather not only grew a business, he grew a family of 8. And 5 boys and 3 girls. All 5 of the boys went into the business at some place or another. And they were very competitive. So my grandfather, well before people had multi-locations, he built a location because they were competitive. They're not going to work together. They're going to compete. And it really worked. And one of my uncles was a grower. And but how I learned from them was, basically, just watching. But back then, most people didn't even carry credit cards, everybody. So when they called on the telephone or walked into the flower shop, it was a lot. We handled a lot of cash. Well, now, of course, we don't handle any, out of X millions of dollars. It's 2% people. It's all a credit card business. And but it was all done in person or over the telephone. And that's not how it is today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. So that you had to really change a mindset of how you'd handle the business.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no question as the time went on. And, one of my biggest things that I was part of at a very young age is I had a chance to be on boards. I was a young guy and full of it. So I got asked to go to Florist Association meetings. And I saw there was a computer out there for online computer entry. And what the main thing, the selling point was everything that goes in there stays there. You could pull it out. Your birthday, your wife likes yellow roses, and credit card information, average sale, and all these other things we didn't have. And I talked the second generation into it. Let's do this. And I might not have been 30. And they went with it. And of course, knowledge is power. And we ended up with a lot of knowledge when we did that. And the next big thing is there wasn't an internet. And as the internet came on, we were way early on having Boesen.com,
right,
our website. So, and I knew, in fact, certainly my dad thought, what a waste of money. But they trusted me. And I wasn't an owner then. I was just a kid.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just a kid. I just got to tell you.
But that is a really great comment you made there, Tom. And I think it's really important for all business people, every generation's a little bit different. And as you grow a company, when you get a young person in their 20s and 30s that come on board, you need to listen to them. Because new technology, they know what's going on. I mean, look at the world today. It changes in 12 months. And those young people are on that wave. Right. And there's so much they can give in that type of situation. And it was really remarkable that your uncles would listen to you. So, and to be able to do that, and you're right, you got ahead of the wave, the curve there. And then you also grew it at one time in several different locations. Tell me a little bit about when you decided to grow it and then when you decided to contract and why and profitability.
Well, I mean, the reason we got into the grocery stores is one day, another grocery store here in Des Moines, or now almost national, is Hy-Vee. They started opening flower shops. So I saw that, and my younger brother, Eddie, and we said, that's competition. So we went to another, more boutique-y grocery store chain called Dolls, and we walked into, and they were just selling flowers, not delivery, taking orders and that, just doing stuff. And I went to 4 or 5 of the grocery stores and I bought stuff. And actually, they didn't take care of it right. It was just, and I went into Ken Stroud, was his name, in the president's office. And I said, I got a gift. He goes, well, what is that crap? He said, I bought it from you. And I bought this from the different dolls. And I said, but, if you hire us, and I never let him talk. I just kept going. But I did know him, and I had a relationship through Grandpa. And so he had to listen to me for a minute. And so anyway, I said, no, I bought this from you. And he said, but if you hire us, this will never happen again. And he did. It was a handshake. And I make it look that easy, but to me, it was that easy. And, just building a little bit of trust. I mean, he could have got rid of me as quick as he said, come in, and I wasn't going to let that happen. So hard work, nice flowers, good customer service. And most of them, we had an employee certain hours a day standing behind the counter that if you wanted to order corsage for your prom or, flowers for delivery, we'd do that. And then we had this same computer system. We had it printed it back at the hub, which was Beaver, and we filled it. So, competition really drives you a lot. And it was Hy-Vee that got us into that. And then I had the mindset, if I could do that, I could have more shops. So we had one out at Clock Tower, and we had one in West Glen, and we had one in Ankeny. But then the grocery stores really started doing their bit. And we really didn't need that many flower shops. And as of today, and we're sitting here, we have 2 flower shops. But Boesen.com, our website, we're doing more revenue with 2 flower shops and our internet than we did with 17 flower shops.
That's amazing. Technology and what it's done today.
Crazy.
And that, now, do you have some of your younger generation family involved with the business now?
I do, and I do have a partner. My not my youngest brother, but my younger brother Frank, who is a CPA and an accountant. He is my partner right now. And at one time there were 3 of us, and I lost my brother Eddie. And so Frank has a son, and I have a son, and they're both being groomed.
Oh, great. That's great.
Well, I have, first of all, I have 6 children, but Tim is the only one with me right now.
Right.
And Frank has 1, Ben.
Having family in the business can be a different dynamic. And so tell us how you've gone through the years, because I'm sure you've had to let go of family members that didn't fit, or you didn't need them anymore. Or just tell us a little bit about that family dynamic and how that works.
It really is tough. I mean, those are the things that, you think you don't even want to share some of the things that you're thinking at the time, and how do I do this when there's respect. But, one of the second generation, we had to buy him out and 2 of his children. And it was really hard. And without saying too much, but, never getting a job where you can be replaced or you don't need them. And the reason I could afford to go to the bank and buy them is I didn't have to replace them. So never get into that spot. And so we bought them out at a time, and everybody else, the other, were ready, to go. But
right.
there's so many things that you don't say. But even my uncle that we bought out later in life, maybe a little disgruntled, maybe a lot. Right. And he came to me and said, this company wouldn't have been here if you didn't do that. So, it makes you feel good, right, at this time. And I knew it, and we did it. But he also, not only just wanted to get paid overtime because his accountant wanted it like that. We had to have the money borrow the money and set it there in case we screwed up.
Right.
So it was, but we managed that really effortlessly.
It's amazing in small businesses how many things you go through, and then you have the dynamics of the family involved, and it can get kind of tough. It can get tough, but you guys at the Boesen Florist obviously have overcome that. Do you guys, when you hire people, what do you look for? And do you guys have like a core value and a vision and a mission with your company? And how do you do that?
We basically start everything from the other side of the counter. And all of our employees know this. It's take care of the customer. And the number one thing, if I would have sent you flowers and you didn't like them, and let's say I liked them, I saw them, I thought they were beautiful, I'm not going to win that war anyway.
Right.
I'm going to send another one. And they say, okay, I'll send you another one. Then you still bitch, or you still irritated. Sorry about that. I would send another one and give their money back. There would be no reason they could ever get mad at me, And so, but you try to do it right the very first time, that you
right.
don't have to go with that. But you don't do the amount of transactions that we do without making some mistakes, or I like something that you don't. Mm-hmm. And right now it's actually, complaints are a lot less because they've already been on the website mm-hmm. and seen what they wanted. So we know what they wanted. But basically, over you trying to say me, a guy trying to tell me I want it big, and what's big mean? But anyway, so it does
right.
get very easier now.
That's amazing. Tom, the Boesen family has a great name in the Des Moines area, and you can build a great business. And it's never easy. But you're at a point in your life now that you probably, where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Certainly, hopefully out to pasture a little bit.
You're a high energy guy, so I know you've got to probably, when people think the Boesen, they think of Tom Boesen, because you've built that people like to come in. When they come in, they like to say hi to Tom. I mean, I see that when I've been at your
right. Well, thank you, and you do have to create a personality, and that personality creates your employees see that too. And thank you really means thank you, and I'm sorry. It better not. No, I'm sorry. Tell them you're really sorry. That you weren't happy. I don't know. I make it easy. I think it's easy. Right. I treat everybody how I want to be treated myself. Mostly the old golden rule. My employees, my vendors. If somebody came in and is looking for a job and I don't have one, I make them feel like $1 million. Right. Sorry. I mean, we're not hiring right now. I don't do that.
Right.
I cherish everybody, because that young man or young woman is going to be, at some point, a customer.
Right.
And everybody could be a customer for flowers. Maybe it's once a year. Maybe it's not till your funeral flowers or whatever, but you want everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Talking about employees, how do you find employees? Because you're a seasonal business where you need to double your staff every now and then. How do you find good people like that?
Well, another thing, save them. When you get a good one, you bring them back and so on like this, but it takes time. On a given day, we might have 5 drivers. We have 50 drivers at Valentine's Day. I got off-duty policemen, off-duty firemen. They're waiting to do it. Their own cars. They get paid by the drop. And, just another thing, you got to figure out how to do it. And I don't know what I was doing, maybe dreaming that night. Yeah. But we started doing that. And it's even more now with the internet business that truly we'll do 3,000 deliveries in 3 days around Valentine's Day. So how do you get people? When you get them, you keep them. I've got 8 people with me 20 years or more. Wow. So when you get them, love them.
Yeah. That to scale at that level and stay competitive, you got to have talent, because it isn't about the individual; it's about the team.
Yeah, and it's not a desk job. Those designers, they're on their feet all day,
right?
And they're doing this, running back for flowers, so it's physical too. Yeah. So, but you got to make it fun.
Okay.
So how do you keep your energy up? You're very energetic. You're passionate. How do you keep your energy up and keep that motivation going?
I'm shrugging my shoulders. I don't know. But when you have good health, you got.
Do you work out? Or?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a walker now than a lifter.
Right.
But I still unload trucks on Sunday mornings, and when they come in, we have a big wedding going on this weekend, and we got 300 boxes in Wednesday night at 11 o'clock, and I was there. Oh. I was one of the unloaders. So I do work out.
You do?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And I'm on my feet all the time, and
that's great.
I got a pool. I swim laps. Do a lot of walking.
That swimming will get you in shape, that's for sure.
Absolutely. How would you describe your difference in mentality today versus 5 or 10 years ago? How you think about the business world, how you think about family, your mindset, how has it changed through the years?
That part really has changed a lot. How the family part and changing that. I mean, quite honestly, I would be lying to say that after I bought the business with the second generation, there wasn't some nerves. What if? And you always think about the worst thing that could happen and spend your time preventing it from happening.
Tom, what would you, if you were to give information or recommend to a family business out there, because the dynamics of every family is a little different, but if you were to give a recommendation on how to be successful in a family business, what would you say 3 core things that would be to make that sustainable?
But first of all, it has to be good help. It's got to be a good, once again, my business, I'm in purchasing, I'm in sales, I'm in design. I mean, I'll call it manufacturing, and I'm in delivery. So I'd say, first of all, find an easier business than what I do. I mean, I wear a lot. There's a lot of different businesses under the Boesen roof. And quite honestly, I would say that, every business that answer would probably be a little bit different. If I was coaching someone and they said this, it'd have to be a little different, but you got to own it. I mean, not own it. You got to own the success. You got to own the failures. You got to own a bad hire. You got to, that was a bad ad we made. You got to own it all.
Yeah.
And you got to learn from everything you do.
That's great that you say that, Tom, because I think that you find in life, period, if you take responsibility for your actions and say, you know what, I'm the one that messed that up. And then when you win, everybody wins.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important because you get people to do the blame game, and get the blame game. That's not always good because that turns into lawsuits, and lawsuits don't work for anybody.
Right.
So, but if you take responsibility for your actions and what you're doing, I think that's obviously it must be throughout your family because that's what's made you sustainable. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really because you learn from them.
Right.
And
well,
it goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, really, and you're the one that goes to the second. None of them like to make mistakes,
right?
And none of them like to upset a customer, and no one likes to say, "God, my wedding flowers, I just didn't like them." Mm-hmm. You just can't let that happen. Mm-hmm. You have to think of the worst thing that happened and just plan that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's. Thinking of, again, going back to that family history, that family aspect of it, how do you see the next generation and what do you see in changes of the next generation as the business continues going?
I see the customers, quite honest, a little bit less interactions from the customer when they order online, push a button, write a card with my deepest sympathy, Tom. Happy anniversary. Sorry about last night or whatever. It's the personal thing that I started with is not as prevalent. Of our revenue, probably 5% hop in their car and walk into the flower shop. 95% pick up the telephone or go online. And of that, a high part is going online. We used to have 14 operators at Valentine's Day. Now we have 4 because it's just coming in paper. And when we're sleeping at night, we're taking orders. So I don't know if that answered the question. But
so it sounds like you might be wanting to get AI involved here.
Oh, first of all, I have to learn a lot of things, but there's no question. I mean, I even just called and ordered a pizza the other night, and it was AI.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I thought I was talking to somebody.
Yeah,
I said, "Hey, slow down." But there's no question that it plays a part in our biz. But I'm not smart enough to tell you how right now. But trust me, we'll be learning.
Yeah, in 24 months, this is going to be a whole different world.
Yes, it is.
This is AI.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
actually.
Absolutely. So. One of the questions we love to ask is, what do you want to be known for? So as you think about your life, your family, what do you want to be known for?
Certainly family first. I mean, I have a big family, all successful. My 6 kids, I got 14 grandchildren. You can't not say that's not a big part of your life for sure. As far as the business world, just being a team player. I mean, when working with grandpa, work with my uncles and being that, I've never really stood out and acted like a big shot. I just fit right in and, I dress like the employees and first one there, last one gone, I'll take the trash out right in front of them, Mm-hmm. So when I ask them to do it, well, why don't you? I mean, that would never happen because they see me do it.
Mm-hmm. I love a lot of things that you shared today, and I want to reinforce a number of them with our audience, the Achiever. You started off with it's about the customer first.
No question.
And making sure that they're happy because that you said it earlier. You're only as good as your last delivery, and so you've got to have that lasting impression. It's got to be working well. Get people, keep them, and love them was something that you said, and I think that's pretty powerful. And today it's a different world. People don't stay that long in an organization very, very much. And so I think that's a great that you have so many people that come back to you in those seasonal times because they want to. They love working with you. And I think that's...
And they love working with flowers.
Yes. Yeah. The other thing that I wrote down was you're always thinking about things, but you have to prevent the worst thing that's going to happen. You got to think about it, but then you got to prevent it. That's your whole goal as a leader of a business, is preventing the worst from happening.
Right.
And so many times we don't see that. We don't think about that. And so I think that was a great statement. Paul, any other takeaways?
You're absolutely. You said it earlier. Health. You got to have your health. I think, and it's all about your customer. If you can have good health and you take care of your customer, everything works its way out.
Even my thoughts coming into this thing, I was thinking about things that I've never thought about. It was actually good for me, because you just kind of get going in a groove and it works. So this has been very enlightening to me too.
Well, good, Tom. I think any small business owner out there, it's not easy. You got to get up. You got to, and like Monte coaches people from $1 million to $1 billion, and it's really important that what you just said is you got to get new ideas sometimes and get in a different environment. And I think that triggers different way of thinking, different way of improving. And I think we all need that, especially in small business, because we're kind of in our own clubs at times.
Yeah. As you were saying, we went from, no computer work to verifying credit cards to now AI. I mean, it's just got to be there. You can't say that's not for me. Especially if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, the computer accelerated fast. AI is going to be 10 times faster than the computer.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole different world.
Yeah.
Which I think, my opinion, is going to be positive for the business guy.
Yeah.
Small business guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Strap on and hang on.
That's right. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, any other stories you want to share, or any other aspects of the business that you think would be good for our learning audience, the achiever?
Well, only one of the things that I'm thinking about mistakes and how I deal with it is one Valentine's Day, we prepared all of the roses, and we're big enough that we didn't have the coolers for all of them, so we put them in refrigerated trucks. And we put the roses there and wrapped them in Boesen paper. And unbeknownst to us, the phone started ringing about 3:00. Our roses look bad. We froze a truckload of roses on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
And, from trying to, do I have computers telling me right now what our trucks are temperatures right now? Yeah, did I then? No. So I don't know. You just kind of learn from stuff that, I felt bad for every one of the 100 people that got frozen roses with my name on it.
So how did you handle it?
I sent them more. Some people just plain understood and said, just replace it. You tell the truth.
Right. And then
you don't try to make up a story that it was
take responsibility and move on.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
Now, did you have to
redeliver them? Yeah. Oh, we worked through the night.
But did you have the inventory to do it? Or did you have to reorder and redo?
Some of the people were very, let us wait. But the minute I heard the first ones, I was on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's local wholesalers here when this happened back in Des Moines, where there isn't as many now. So I did have to get them. But certainly when I buy them direct from Ecuador and Colombia like I do, they're lesser price than buying from a local wholesaler. But I did what I had to do.
Now, in a situation like this, so you have to replace them. Does that take 100% of your profit out at that point?
Yeah. On that type of, certainly there was a lot of deliveries that didn't go there. It was just the roses in this certain truck. And quite honestly, some people never called.
Right.
We called them.
You got ahead of it. Right.
We got ahead of them.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, that's all right, Mr. Boesen." What? Send you a dozen roses? Well, call me again. I sent you a dozen frozen roses. And it's okay. I didn't let him tell me that.
Right. Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Well, really appreciate you telling about your stories and your family and the business. And it's been a lot of fun sharing the story with our audience, the Achiever, because I think everybody can learn from this family dynamic and the complexity of your business, because it is. You wear so many hats. You said it, as you got many different businesses under one roof, and it's just a lot of new challenges every single day, and the future is bright, and future is always a challenge as well. So really appreciate you being on our show.
Oh God, it was my pleasure. This, like I said, this is good for me. It's kind of like confession.
Oh, great. Who do you think's the holiest, me or Monte?
Yeah, I'm not going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, gents.
Well, Tom, it's been good. It's been good. Appreciate you coming out and stopping at the studio. And
my pleasure.
really appreciate that. Thanks,
Well,
man.
thank you to our audience, the Achiever. We appreciate you joining us, and continue to like and subscribe to our channel, and look forward to the next show. Thanks for joining us.